Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ethan Ng. I'm the Marketing and Events Lead of Huobi Global. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and our friends for giving us the opportunity to be here. We are very honored and privileged to be standing on this stage to share with you the following content. Now, first of all, I would like to do a short introduction about Huobi Global. Huobi Global is an international digital asset exchange, and we have been since the inception of 2013. We have millions of users from all over the world in 220 countries and areas. To date, we have $1 trillion of turnover, and we have moved beyond the digital asset exchange business. Over here, you can see these are the entities that we have in Huobi ecosystem. We have the Huobi Ecology Fund, Huobi Cloud, Huobi Capital, and in the heart of it all, we have Huobi Exchange Global, headquartered in Singapore. Now, in 2013, we started off as a very small entity, covered in 50 countries and areas. And earlier this year, we have about 300 colleagues. As of today, we are proud to say that we have 1,300 colleagues from all over the world serving entities in the Huobi ecosystem. And essentially, this means that we became the world's biggest blockchain company in the world. And so as the world's biggest blockchain company in the world, we see a lot of responsibilities in this space with 5 years of history. And so today we are here in the scope of Vietnam, and you can see over here in this graph, this is a representation of the national currencies traded against cryptocurrency, and the Vietnamese dong is top 8 traded national currencies against the cryptocurrency. Now, what does this mean? So this essentially represents the enthusiasm, passion, and interest from the Vietnamese market. Huobi sees our role in the Vietnamese market to actually help boost the local economy with the likes of Huobi Eco, Huobi Capital, to incubate local promising projects and essentially creating more job opportunities. With these local job opportunities and our international resources and networks, we will be able to help local projects to scale widely internationally, and we will be able to help them connect. So I would like to come up with this statement: the world is risky, but your exchange should not be. So over the past few years, we have heard of cases, famous cases, that everybody has been discussing about big hacks from the exchanges. And Huobi is proud to say that since inception, for the last 5 years, we got zero security issues. And we are proud to be the exchange of choice. Now, speaking of exchange, I would like to touch base a little bit on today's subject, the 7 security measures taken by Huobi Global. There's 2 parts of this. First, in today's age where innovation is most importantly viewed by the media and the public as the most essential point, but more often than not, all over the world, there's multiple conversations about innovations versus security. And more often than not, it's overlooked and sometimes compromised. Huobi actually puts a lot of effort into the security portion, and I would like to take this opportunity to share with everybody the standard practices that we do. First off is our user protection fund. So back in March, we have this very serious thought about how do we actually cover all of our millions of users at this scale? So we went high and low to look for an insurance package, and we found out, guess what, we can't find it at this scale. So we decided to create our own user protection fund. So in every 3 months, we would use our 20% of our profits to buy into Huobi tokens, and we will put this into user protection fund. And the second thing is we have 20,000 Bitcoins stored in our security reserve. And this will be used in critical security measures. And we actually recommend reputable exchanges to adopt such financial safeguards. Next up is our wallet security protection. So we have a multi-signature solution for our wallet security, and we stock 98% of our assets in the cold wallet, and only 2% of our assets in the hot wallet. We also have this, oh wait, I forgot. Oh yes, okay, so there's this one interesting fact I want to highlight to everybody. There's not one single Huobi staff that has the full private key code to the entire Huobi system's cold and hot wallet. So basically, at any point of time, if you want to access to our hot and cold wallet, 2 or more Huobi staff monitored by their peers have to access to this private key code of our hot and cold wallet. So basically, when you watch the movie where 2 people need to enter their key for the nuclear key codes, it's practically like that. And next is our platform security protection. So our platform is our frontier, and we do safety and penetration tests before listing operations, and we do regular checks with international third parties to identify for gaps and opportunities of threat, and we have a full-time security team to respond to this 24/7. So just now I mentioned a little bit about the external factors. I want to highlight a little bit about internal control, which is more often than not discussed at all. So for internal control management, for Huobi, we have, just now I mentioned, we have 1,300 colleagues. We have a few colleagues with very important roles. So what happens is, for these important roles, they are monitored by their peers in a systematic process, and we have multiple access controls into our system, so that not one Huobi staff have absolute control over our platform and system. And on top of that, new Huobi colleagues that join the company have to go through meticulous training and onboarding process to make sure that they understand our company standards. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the little details that we practice. So for sensitive data, we actually encrypt it, and even sensitive data that is printed on paper, they have to be shredded. And for our full-time security team, they are all trained on Bitcoin protocol and also double spending and transaction malleability. Next part, I want to talk about KYC, which is what everybody knows as Know Your Client. So we recognize our global leadership position in the financial market, and we practice, we have this common practice in our company where we identify potential account holders and we cross-check across international databases for blacklists of fraudulent behavior or terrorism financing or money laundering. Next up is the Smart Chain Evaluation Model. So there are over 4,000 projects in the world, and Huobi has only 120 projects listed. We have many friends, including some from yesterday, asking us, so why do you only list 120 projects? So Huobi actually relies on Smart Chain Evaluation Model heavily, and SMART refers to strategy, management, activity, reliability, and technology. We rely on this model very heavily to do our due diligence checks on project listing. So from my experience, there was an incident where we were doing a consideration of a project listing, and we have had meetings for more than 8 times, and we could not decide on this project listing. This is because our CEO have a very insistent policy: leave no stones unturned. Do your due diligence checks on the founders, on the background, and all these aspects. And because we have 5 years of good trust with our users, we do not want to betray our users' trust by listing any coins that we did not do our due diligence checks. So last but not least, I'm going to talk a little bit about the regulation, which is a needed next step. There are 2 points, which is regulators and industry players should create a collaborative culture, and they should have a proactiveness to self-regulate, undertake precautionary measures. So of all the standard practices that we mentioned just now, we as a global leading leader can realistically only protect our own users, right? And so in our opinion, we welcome regulation, and in our opinion, it is inevitable. If done in a thoughtful and careful way, we can help to protect users and provide a safer environment. With that, for this reason, we welcome the opportunity to work with friends and partners to create a safer environment and a safety net for the whole market. Thank you very much.